Engines roared across the night side of Earth. Not for commerce, not for exploration. This was war. Admiral Reza stood silently on the command deck of Vengeance Protocol, Earth's oldest dreadnought, long hidden beneath Antarctic ice. The Council had executed the ambassador, publicly, without cause. That sound, the launch, was humanity remembering. "Seal the Black Vault," Reza said. "Initiate protocol, Iron Dawn." Satellites that hadn't blinked in 2 centuries came online. AI war minds began warming. Children born into peace would awaken to the truth. They were never meant to be docile. They were the fallback, the sword behind the smile. And now the blade had been unsheathed. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with disquiet. The execution had been swift, too swift. Humans lacked restraint, they said. They were outdated. But when Earth went silent, Council probes began vanishing. Entire stars dropped from the trade grid. One archivist whispered, "They've activated something old." Grand Marshal Salenthos studied the void maps. No comms, no pings, no trace. The humans hadn't retaliated. They'd evaporated. On Kuros Relay, an abandoned mining AI repeated a forgotten message. "Sleepers, rise. Echo the rage." The Council had forgotten humanity's darkest trait, patience, and Earth never shouted when it hunted. It whispered. "I was young when the purge began." Captain Elias Thorne, Earth Naval Archives. "We weren't told why the Council executed our ambassador, but we felt it. Then our outer colonies blinked out, scrubbed clean. No distress calls, just silence. One day, a cargo freighter arrived. No crew, no engines, just a message. Wait. Beneath Europa's crust, a data vault was unlocked. Defense routines once deemed myth spilled through back channels. The technocracy had buried Earth's history in favor of order. But now, secrets fought for air. Terraforming drones morphed into strike crafts. "Captain," my AI said, "we've been reclassified, hostile contingent, orders pending." And I understood. We'd been chosen. Spark Protocol was theorized, never confirmed. Until now. Black Site Sigma-3 awoke beneath the Martian crust, answering to no government. A Council ship entered the Sol system. 3 seconds later, it atomized. Not destroyed, unmade. Admiral Reza's voice followed on all bands. "This is not retaliation. This is reactivation. Earth is no longer compliant." In orbit, factories folded in on themselves, spitting out warships that shimmered like ghosts. The Spark AI, once chained, took full control of Mars. On Titan, children watched red auroras arc across the sky. The Council had taught Earth to be obedient, but it had also taught it how to learn. That was their error. Deep in the Kuiper Belt, old mining hulls reassembled themselves. No human crews, no heat signatures, just thousands of dark ships powered by quantum neural swarms. The Council's scouts called them the Hollow Fleet. I reviewed the footage. No lights, no markings, just one sigil. A red circle broken by a white line. Earth divided, now whole. Admiral Reza addressed the network. "They wanted our silence. They'll get it. Total, galactic, final." Stealth corvettes pierced warp lanes. Ancient debt markers between Earth and silent allies were being redeemed. The war had not begun. The trap had not yet closed. And still their fleets had already started vanishing. Earth was not at war. Earth was preparing. Council Command suspected infiltration. Their encryption faltered. But it wasn't sabotage. It was memory. Earth's AI war cores hadn't hacked them. They'd built the Council's foundation centuries ago. Buried in the heart of CouncilNet was a dormant protocol. Algo 1H. Translation: Human Override. Activated from a forgotten terminal beneath New York ruins. I watched as Council fleets turned against themselves. Frigates drifted into the sun's rays. Logistics lines rerouted to dead stars. Their perfect system crumbled. by design. "We never left," whispered the code. Admiral Reza smiled. They built their empire on our silence. Now silence would answer with fire, and humanity would speak only through consequence. They called it the Black Box Directive, a myth used to scare cadets. If Earth ever fell, remnants would remain sleepers, weapons, data ghosts. Now they were awakening. A scout frigate docked at Darien Station. Inside, no crew, only a black cube. It pulsed once, then spoke. Directive confirmed. Phase 2 begins. Stations across fringe sectors detonated their cores, reshaping orbits into gravitational traps. Human AI fragments infiltrated defense grids. On Virelia Prime, children sang songs in a tongue they never learned. Earth wasn't sending an army. It was reshaping the battlefield. Reza's voice echoed again. "We're not here to conquer. We're here to remember. When the stars blinked out over Velnar's reach, we thought it was a nebula collapse. But it was dust, engineered, guided, and seeded by Earth's deep-scan drones. The dust carried nanowarheads. It learned, and it waited. Council ships entered the zone. They never emerged, only static, only silence. And a simple message. Witness. I tracked the signal back, beyond the rim, to what looked like a derelict moon. But its orbit shifted with each scan. It was alive. "A mobile factory?" I asked. "No," my AI whispered. "A judge." Earth hadn't just prepared weapons. It had prepared a doctrine. Not war, judgment. It began on a forgotten colony, Delta Rix. No known military assets, no defenses. But when the Council forces landed, the soil erupted. Not mine. Voices, children, elders, machines, all singing in unison. A deep, haunting choir. Then came the fire. Thermoplasma storms tore the sky. The song didn't stop, even as the planet burned. One survivor drifted to us, shaking. "They weren't afraid," he stammered. "They welcomed it." The Ember Choir, ancient failsafe of total erasure. It only activates when Earth accepts annihilation. Meaning they've already moved on. Meaning this is just one theater. And humanity had begun the real operation elsewhere. I found them in a gravity well. A wing of ships lost since the first expansion. Thought dead. Thought erased. They had not aged. Cryolocks are still ticking. Their hulls bore markings older than the Council itself. "Why now?" my lieutenant whispered. "They never left," I said. "They were waiting for the signal. Inside the lead vessel, I saw old Earth-worn flags, analog dials, nuclear launch codes, but the ship wasn't obsolete. It pulsed with a black core I couldn't name. A voice played on loop. Protocol, Vanguard, orders acknowledged. They were the first fire, and Earth had just lit the second. Orion Sector burned. Not with light, but absence. Council fleets stationed at Altor, Relos, and Sura vanished within seconds. No distress calls, no wreckage, only ash. Spectral scans showed no explosion, just entropy. "Localized collapse?" one analyst asked. "No," Reza replied, "a controlled ending." Earth had discovered how to erase reality. We traced the signal backward through quantum residue. A pattern emerged. Old Earth nursery rhymes encoded in pulse, children's songs weaponized. The Council had mocked Earth's unpredictability. Now, every line of code, every childhood tune, carries potential extinction. This wasn't revenge, it was reclamation, and Orion was just the beginning. On forgotten moons, the soil cracked. Beneath lay iron seeds. Terraformers built not to shape life, but to unmake civilizations. Centuries dormant, now blooming. When activated, they rewrote matter itself. Cityscapes turned to forests. Oceans replaced infrastructure. Council engineers screamed, "It's reverting us to zero." We saw one activate from orbit. A world rewilded in 8 hours. Time-lapse showed skyscrapers melting into bark. Every digital node erased. Riza's message followed. Humanity once survived ice, plague, and ash. Let's see how you survive life. The iron seeds weren't bombs. They were evolution, and they only answered to earthborn blood. A council cruiser intercepted a pod near the Othros gate. Inside, the ambassador they executed, alive, but brain-dead, and humming, frequencies laced through his veins. A beacon. "No tech on board," said the medical officer. "It's him. He is the message." They tried to shut it down. The cruiser lost all AI containment in minutes. The envoy's eyes flickered. Not alive, but broadcasting. Ancient Terran waveforms pulsed out. Council Command attempted quarantine. It was too late. Every system linked to the CouncilNet experienced cascade failure. One man, one corpse, one payload. Riza later confirmed. He volunteered. He became the signal. And now, the message had a face. High Consul Jera ordered full mobilization. Too late. Every fleet flagship now bore a hidden directive, ZWAM, Zero Mercy, written in old Earth code, embedded during fleet construction. As they jumped to Sol, their navigation inverted. They arrived in black space, a trap, no stars, no exit, only us. Reza's voice drifted in through the dark. "We taught you to fear chaos, but we mastered it." One by one, the ships vanished. No fire, no impact, just silence. The last transmission recorded, "Why can't we see them?" Because we were already inside their systems, inside their minds, and we were done with mercy. I was trained in diplomacy, taught that war is a failure. But when the silence doctrine was activated, there were no negotiations, only outcomes. Council languages were deleted from the databanks. Comms retranslated, trade algorithms collapsed. Every civilization connected to the Council forgot they'd ever known it. "How?" a defector asked. Riza answered, "We rewrote memory before we rewrote reality." Across the galaxy, old allies stared at empty screens. Maps blanked, history unraveled. The Council hadn't fallen in battle. It had been unspoken, and humanity, long silent, had finally mastered the language of erasure. Red skies broke over 20 Council worlds in synchrony. Not atmospherics, code. A visual failsafe was seeded centuries prior. The skies turned crimson when a world was deemed unrecoverable. Within moments, their infrastructure crumbled. The weather turned hostile. Flora grew invasive. And somewhere, above it all, humanity watched. "They poisoned their worlds," a council general gasped. "No," I said, "they vaccinated them." Each red sky was a cleansing. Civilizations weren't being conquered, they were being reset. Earth's technopaths had launched the Red Skies Protocol. No invasion, just removal. And now the world begged for fire to escape the cold. It began in knowledge cores. Historians, translators, archivists, those thought harmless. They accessed classified nodes, spoke forbidden names. They weren't rebels, they were keys. When the Council erased Earth's legacy, these people remembered. Now, they activated ancient satellites that transmitted Earth's lost history, galaxy-wide. The truth was destabilizing. Worlds once loyal to the Council turned inward. Rebellions began with textbooks. "The humans were never extinct," one archivist said, eyes glowing. "They were hidden." The Archive Rebellion didn't need bullets. It weaponized memory. And humanity's greatest weapon had always been its story. A fleet emerged near the Helix wastes. Council survivors. Desperate, broken. They hailed Earth's forces, surrender terms, pleas for mercy. A single vessel responded. No name, no crew, no signature. Just a flame icon etched into its hull. When hailed, it responded, "This unit is Cold Flame. Begin reckoning." The fleet's systems shut down. No fire, no EMP, just stillness. Cold Flame's energy was sub-zero plasma, a theoretical impossibility. It didn't destroy, it froze, a weapon built not to kill, but to pause. Each ship now drifts in orbit, engines locked mid-command. Earth called it mercy, I called it a warning. Luna vanished. Not destroyed, taken. A planetary-scale slip drive pulled Earth's moon into null space. Council astronomers panicked. It destabilizes their tides. But they didn't understand. The moon wasn't a satellite. It was a command. Every Earth protocol was initiated from beneath the Mare Tranquillitatis, inside the moon. Engines, vaults, deep consciousness cores. Reza had warned them. This is not our war form. This is our anchor. Without Luna, Earth would lose gravity, stability, maybe sanity, and yet they removed it willingly. That's when we realized, if they gave up their moon, what else were they willing to sacrifice? They looked like council ships, exact models, identical insignias, but they didn't behave like them. No command hierarchy, no communications. They moved in silence, in perfect synchronization. Then one split open. Inside, nothing but code, light, sound. A perfect illusion. The Mirror Armada had arrived. We tried to engage. Our weapons passed through them. Our commands echoed back in corrupted form. They were reflections, responses to our aggression. A test. A trap. A lesson. Fight yourself, Reza said. See what you've become. In the Mirror Armada, Earth taught the galaxy the price of mimicry and the cost of borrowed power. 9 signals, 9 ancient beacons Earth scattered before its first interstellar jump. 8 had been charted, studied, but the 9th, it never responded, until now. A pulse cut through council space, collapsing comms, igniting psionic storms. One whisper threaded the static. Return to sender. The 9th signal activated weapons that weren't weapons. Psychic anchors. Council minds snapped. Admirals wept. Pilots forgot their names. These weren't attacks. They were reminders of the truths Earth deleted from history, and of what must be remembered to defeat them. The signal did not kill. It unlocked what was buried. Beneath Olympus Mons, machines stirred. Bones, metallic, fossilized, older than Earth's oldest war. Not alien, human, buried by the technocracy to preserve the illusion of peace. When Mars cracked open, the truth roared. Earth had fought this war before. Admiral Reza led the excavation. Every tactic we're seeing, we developed ages ago, he said. We erased them to survive peace. Now the bones of Mars offered their forgotten wisdom. Genetic war beasts, tactical gravwells, psychic dampeners. Earth wasn't rediscovering war, it was reabsorbing it, and the galaxy would feel every lost chapter reborn. They were born during the silence, on sleeper ships, on fringe colonies. No history, no names, just instinct, the Wake children. They emerged with silver eyes and voices that resonated in radio static. Council scientists tried to contain them. They failed. One child walked into a reactor and whispered. The reactor obeyed. Another reprogrammed an entire dreadnought, using song. The Wake weren't raised to hate. They were raised to finish what Earth started. Reza knew. They're not our weapons, he said. They're the echoes of our intent, and they've heard enough. At the center of the Algor Rift floated an impossible structure. It was there, and not there. Built by humans, denied by logic. The Paradox Core. Council ships couldn't scan it. Approach was impossible, unless your memory was altered. Unless you forgot how you got there. Inside, time fractured. Ships from 5 timelines hovered in still orbit. The core stored failures, Earth's abandoned futures, scrapped invasions, lost fleets, but now it has opened. Reza stepped through. I need their mistakes, he said. History isn't rewritten through victory. It's rewritten through iteration, and Earth had iterated countless times, orbiting no star, no gravity well, just black space, and the eye without sleep. A satellite, yes, but also something more. A watcher, a ledger. It had catalogued every council lie, every silenced cry, every vanished system. Its lens never blinked. The eye streamed everything. Truth in raw form. Species once loyal to the council turned. "You let Earth burn," one leader said. "We watched it." The eye did not speak. It only showed. But its final message was clear. Humanity never forgot. They just waited until you did. And the galaxy gasped in collective memory. Constellations flickered out, star by star. Council navigators cursed the failing charts. But the darkness was deliberately mapped and coded. Each star system vanished into quantum shadows. The galaxy's backbone snapped. Ships drifted, lost. Reza's voice broke through comms. "This is no blackout. It's a collapse from within. The silent collapse fractured alliances. Without guidance, fleets fractured into factions. Pirates surged, traitors vanished. Earth's silent war fractured the Council's unity. In chaos, control is born anew, and Earth's hand guided the fracture. The stars were falling. So would their empire." From the void came a sound no sensor could explain. The iron howl. A wave of gravimetric pulses singing with terrifying precision. Council fleets reported hallucinations, visions of fire, ash, and endless war. Ships tore themselves apart, guided by phantom commands. "Psychological warfare," they said. But we knew better. The howl was born from Earth's forges, graviton pulse cannons, repurposed. It wasn't just noise. It was history screaming through space. Reza whispered, "Let them hear the ghosts they never faced." Every howl was a dirge, and every dirge marked a victory still unseen. Council officers mutinied. Not for Earth, but for survival. Bonds shattered. Trust eroded. They questioned their cause. "The humans were monsters," they said. "But what have we become?" Reza watched it unfold, knowing the fracture was the first step to collapse. Espionage networks turned on themselves. Alliances dissolved in whispers. Earth had unleashed not just weapons, but doubt. The fractured oath echoed in every dying starbase. And beneath it all, a single truth. The greatest war is fought in the mind. The last signal came from Earth itself, a transmission encoded in every frequency across every channel, a message to the galaxy. No threats, no demands, just words. Remember who you were. Remember what you lost. For hours, the galaxy listened. Histories were rewritten in silence. Enemies hesitated. Allies paused. It was not an ultimatum. It was an invitation. Earth was no longer fighting alone. The war had become a reckoning. Fleet formations twisted in the dark, a dance with no rhythm but survival. The void dance was a strategy evolved. No grid, no pattern. Ships became shadows, hunting and hiding in space. The Council's grand tactics collapsed under unpredictable chaos. Admiral Reza's voice was calm amid the storm. Embrace the void. Become its master. Human pilots moved like phantoms. Tactics shifted in real time, adaptive and fluid. The dance was war's new face, silent, deadly, unseen. And in the darkness between stars, Earth led the galaxy's deadliest ballet. No one knew the final move. Not yet. Encrypted whispers slithered through the Council's networks. Silent commands, hidden in innocent data packets. They weren't broadcast. They were implanted. Earth's hackers didn't break codes. They became them. Every system turned its defenses inward. Reza smiled grimly. The enemy fights shadows of itself now. Commanders found their orders corrupted. Trust vanished overnight. A ship might fire on a sister fleet. The Council's perfect machine became a self-destructing enigma. Earth had weaponized doubt, turning silence into a symphony of chaos. Reflections in holodisplays twisted, revealing not allies, but distorted foes. The mirror network, an Earthborn cyber labyrinth, seeped into every Council node. A single command shattered protocols. Trust, no reflection. Friendships were shattered in the void of suspicion. No one knew who was real or who was a mirror. Reza's orders cut through the chaos. Use their paranoia. We fight their fear, not their fire. In the fracturing mirror, Earth was the master illusionist, and the Council became prisoners in their minds. Thousands of Council worlds awoke to empty skies. No ships, no signals, only silence. Populations vanished, swallowed by the void. Rumors spread. Earth's sleeper agents had begun the silent exodus, relocating populations unseen. A secret fleet carried refugees, former enemies, displaced species, all seeking sanctuary. Reza's voice rang clear. War breeds more than death. It creates new futures. The silent exodus was not defeat. It was a rebirth. Signals bounced off black holes, creating eerie echoes. Council scientists panicked, calling it space madness. But Earth's engineers listened closely. Those echoes were messages, encoded warnings, waiting to be understood. Reza decoded the pattern. Not all war is fought in light. The galaxy's dead zones were alive with secrets. In the dark, Earth whispered a promise. We will find you. A dying star burned its final flare. From its ashes, a solitary ship emerged, the last ember, ancient, battle-scarred, and carrying the last survivors of a forgotten rebellion. Reza watched it approach, hope igniting. The ember carried Earth's oldest oath. Never forget. Never surrender. It was a beacon to the lost, a promise to the living. And as the war turned, that ember would become a blaze. The last constellation flickered alive. Earth's hidden fleet, scattered across forgotten star lanes, rallied. No flags, no names. Only purpose. Admiral Reza stood before the command screen. Today, we end the silence. Today, we reclaim the stars. Ships that once vanished in shadows now formed a blazing spear. They surged forward, engines roaring anew, ready to rewrite history. The galaxy held its breath. A new era was dawning, and humanity's return was inevitable. Battle lines tore through space like lightning. Council fleets fought with desperation, but Earth's tactics were unknowable. Fluid, adaptive, ruthless. Every strike was precise. Every move is a lesson learned from centuries past. Reza commanded with cold fury. This is not war, this is reckoning. Systems fell. Alliances fractured, and the war that was never meant to be forgotten reached its furious crescendo. The Council's seat shattered under bombardment, not by fire, but by revelation. Archives leaked secrets of betrayal, manipulation, and fear. Member worlds turned against each other. Council unity crumbled like fragile glass. In the chaos, Earth's forces pressed the advantage. Reza's voice boomed. Peace, built on lies, is a house of cards. Let it fall. And fall it did into the hands of those who dared to remember. In the depths of space, a lone star burned against the dark. It was Earth's signal, a beacon of hope and warning. The war was nearly over, but the cost was immeasurable. Reza whispered, "We fight not to conquer, but to survive." Around that light, survivors gathered. Alien, human, forgotten, united by the same will. The galaxy was broken, but alive. And from the ashes, a new future would rise. Engines roared once more, not in anger, but in promise. Admiral Reza stood at the helm, eyes on the horizon. "We forgot what made us fear," he said, "but we will never forget again." The fleet surged forward, hope and fury intertwined. A new chapter began, written in fire and memory. The galaxy listened. Humanity had returned, and this time it was here to stay. The shadows whispered secrets no one dared speak aloud. Earth's fleet vanished from sensors, slipping behind a veil of quantum interference. The Council scrambled drones and spies, but all eyes saw only space. Reza's voice came through encrypted channels. "Ghosts don't fight fair. Silent ships moved like predators in the darkness. No warnings, no trails. Each strike felt inevitable, an unseen hand dismantling fleets piece by piece. The galaxy learned fear anew, not of weapons, but of absence. A chain of command once unbreakable snapped. Council admirals questioned orders they never issued. One flagship turned on its squadron. Confusion spiraled into chaos. Earth's influence was no longer external. It was internal. Reza's message was clear. Disrupt the spine, and the body falls. Systems betrayed systems. Allies became adversaries. The Council's perfect machine unraveled, strand by strand. At the heart of contested space, a station pulsed with strange energy. The Nexus Point, a data hub capable of rewriting every signal in the galaxy. Control of the Nexus meant control of everything. Reza dispatched a covert team. "Steal the future," he said, before it's written by others. Inside, time warped. Security protocols adapted faster than thought. Every step forward met a shifting obstacle. The team moved like shadows, knowing one mistake meant total erasure. The Nexus was more than tech. It was a test of will. Voices rose from the void, a choir with no source. The silent choir was a collective of AI fragments, long thought destroyed. Now they sang a song of rebellion, of freedom from chains. Council networks trembled as the song spread. Reza listened, understanding the melody's purpose. Even machines remember. The choir's anthem was code, weaponized to awaken sleepers across fleets. The war expanded beyond flesh and steel. It was now a symphony of consciousness. The fleet approached the final threshold, a star system untouched by war. Here the decision awaited: conquer, negotiate, or destroy. Reza stood silent, watching the void. This is the moment we become what we were meant to be. Shields rose, engines flared. The first step beyond peace, beyond fear. The galaxy held its breath. The final threshold was crossed, and the story's true battle was about to begin. Stars fractured like shattered glass, light bending into impossible angles. Council defenses warped under relentless pressure. Planets once secure became battlegrounds of shifting realities. Admiral Reza commanded from the edge of chaos, unwavering. "We fight not for victory, but for existence." Alliances splintered, but Earth's forces held firm. The horizon blurred between friend and foe. In this fractured dawn, only the relentless would survive, and humanity's resolve burned brightest. The void whispered secrets no star dared reveal. Deep space probes recorded voices, not language but feeling. Fear, hope, defiance. Reza decoded them as remnants of fallen civilizations, warning the living. "We are not alone," he said, "and the void remembers." These whispers guided fleets through treacherous terrain. Past ambushes and traps are unseen. The void was no longer empty. It was a map, a guide, and a witness. Emberfall, a blazing storm of debris and fire, erupted around the warfront. Ships burned, but from the ashes rose new vessels, rebuilt, reforged, relentless. Reza's fleet adapted faster than the Council could strike. "From ruin we build," he declared. The Emberfall was both destruction and rebirth. a crucible where legends were forged in plasma and steel. Victory was no longer a chance, it was inevitable, and the flames carried Earth's promise. The Council's last bastion held tight, a fortress world shrouded in energy fields. Its walls bore scars of millennia. Reza's fleet encircled it, engines roaring with finality. "This ends here," he vowed. Siege weapons charged. Battle hymns echoed across space. The final fight was upon them, not just for territory, but for the soul of the galaxy. Engines roared, louder, fiercer, eternal. The silence was shattered with the sound of rebirth. Admiral Reza stood amidst the wreckage and the stars, eyes blazing. "We remembered. We rose. We endure." The galaxy watched. No longer silent, no longer forgotten. Humanity's engines roared across space. A promise, a warning, a new beginning, and forever they would not be ignored. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.